So let's start coding. And this is a new sheet. I put in the seats here, and you should have something that says the same. And notice that now on the right, my worksheet is completely empty. So later on, we're going to start with having all these minutes here, starting from all the way until the end. So let's see if we can make that happen. So switching to the Visual Basic Editor. And so I've already added a module, so I'm going to work in passenger calculation, and we're going to name this sub passenger calc. So one of the first things that I'm going to program is the time value array, and this is supposed to print these minutes on the top row of my worksheet. And this is the way to do it, so you can follow along. So I'm going to give it dimensions and time value array as name. And it's going to start from negative 150 till 1439, which is 2359. And I'm going to give it a date as data type. Enter. So to print these time values into our array, we need to do some calculations first. We're going to do this using a loop. For j is 0 to 1439. And we're going to say that time value array for value j is going to be j divided by 1440. So what this is going to do is loop through this and say that for 0 divided by 1440 the value is going to be 0. 1 divided by 1440 is going to be the smallest value, so the value for the minute number 1 that Excel can translate into a date stamp. Altogether it's going to run until it hits 1439, and that will print 2359 into my array. So it's only into my array, and it's not going to be on the worksheet just yet. So remember that we also need to include the next 150 minutes before midnight, and for this we're going to do the same thing but with a different calculation. And for this one we're also going to use a for loop, and it's going to be from negative 150 to negative 1. And for these values, I'm going to say the time value array I is going to be 1440 plus I divided by 1440. And that will give me the highest numbers from 2130 until 2359 on the previous day. Oh, and obviously we need to have a next I here. Then we need to print this to our worksheet, and it's going to be on my worksheet number 1 in the range starting from cell 127, so which is column AA, double A, to cells 1 to 1616. And I know this because I already made the code. And 1616 is the last row where we're going to have our value printed. Now let's run our code and see if it works. So let's see what it did to our worksheet, and I would expect it to print the array from column AA, and here it is. So from cell AA on, which corresponds to column number 27, you can see that our array has been printed in the top row. So these are now values from 0 to 1. And by holding down Shift, press End, then the right arrow key, and you will see that the entire row is selected. So this code is applied all the way until column BJD. So we can now make this bold. So I would expect to find 0 or midnight around column number FU. And I do find it here under FU. So this is going to be for the previous day, whereas midnight starts here and it goes all the way until the very end. Okay, so scrolling back just a little bit. Again, holding down the Shift key and right arrow key. So now I don't want these numbers to show as general data types. I want them to show as timestamps. But instead I'm going to go for more number formats and press time here, and then select this format. It only gives me hours and minutes instead of hours, minutes, and seconds. And then press OK. So what you'll see now is that Excel has converted our time values into hours and minutes. This completes the first step of writing our code. So let's move on to the next video.